The Little Red Riding Hood. Once upon a time, there was a little girl who was loved by everyone, but most of all by her grandmother, and there was nothing that she would not give to the child. Once she gave her a little Red Riding Hood of red velvet which suited her so well. She was always called Little Red Riding Hood. Her grandmother fell ill, so her mother asked her to deliver cake and a bottle of wine to her grandmother. The grandmother lived out in the wood, half a league from the village, and just as Little Red Riding Hood entered the wood, a wolf met her. Red Riding Hood did not know what a wicked creature he was, and was not at all afraid of him. The wolf tricked Little Red Riding Hood to look at the flowers. Meanwhile, the wolf ran straight to their grandmother's house, and without saying a word, he went straight to their grandmother's bed and devoured her. Then he put on her clothes, dressed himself in her cap, laid himself in bed, and drew the curtains. Little Red Riding Hood had been running about picking flowers, and when she had gathered so many that she could carry no more, she remembered her grandmother, and set out on the way to her. She was surprised to find the door standing open, and she went into the room. She called out, "Good morning," but received no answer, so she went to the bed and drew back the curtains. There lay her grandmother with her cap pulled far over her face and looking very strange.
"Oh, grandmother,"
she said,
"what big ears you have!" "All the better to hear you with, my child,"
was the reply.
"But, grandmother, what big eyes you have!"
she said.
"All better to see you with, my dear." "But, grandmother, what large hands you have!" "All the better to hug you with." "Oh, but, grandmother, what a terrible big mouth you have!" "All the better to eat you with."
And scarcely had the wolf said this, than with one bound he was out of bed and swallowed up Red Riding Hood. When the wolf had appeased his appetite, he lay down again in the bed, fell asleep, and began to snore very loud. The huntsman was just passing the house, so he went into the room, and when he came to bed, he saw that the wolf was lying in it. But just as he was going to fire at him, it occurred to him that the wolf might have devoured their grandmother, and that she might still be saved, so he did not fire, but took a pair of scissors and began to cut open the sleeping wolf. When he had made 2 snips,
Snip, snip.
the little girl and their aged grandmother came out alive, and when he awoke, he collapsed at once and fell dead. Then all 3 were delighted. The huntsman went home, their grandmother ate the cake and drank the wine. So Red Riding Hood went joyously home, and no one ever did anything to harm her again. The Little Red Riding Hood.